Let's talk a minute, or three, about the Tennessee School Board that banned Maus. This is Maus. It's a Pulitzer Prize-winning comic book by the renowned cartoonist Art Spiegelman. And it's a retelling of Spiegelman's father's experiences in Poland during the early days of the Holocaust. And it was reported earlier this week that a Tennessee school board decided to remove this from their school's library because some parents complained about some of the content, specifically language and some of the artwork. You may have noticed when I introduced this, I referred to it as a comic book and not a graphic novel, and there are a couple reasons for that. For one, I don't particularly like the term graphic novel. I think that it's just a marketing term made up to show people that comics can be smart when we already know that comics can be smart. And the second and most important reason is that using the term novel implies that the stuff in this book is made up. Beneath this shocking cover is a true story, even though it's told using cartoons of mice and cats and pigs and other animals. Now, if you're not already one of my followers, you don't know me at all, you can probably put together by the environment that I'm in, which is a classroom, that I'm a high school teacher. More specifically, I'm a high school teacher who deeply believes in the literary quality of art and text combined. That is to say, I believe in the power of comics, and I believe in this book. Not only do I teach comics in my regular literature class, I also teach a film class, and right now we're watching Apocalypse Now. There's this line in Apocalypse Now, which of course takes place during the insanity of the Vietnam War, in which a character says, "We train young men to drop fire on people, but their commanders won't allow them to write the word fuck on their airplanes because it's obscene." And I think that line perfectly encompasses the hypocrisy at work here. Over 6 million people lost their lives in horrifying ways. And you're worried that somebody who experienced that said a bad word when talking about it. There's a lot of good to be found in humanity, but history is about learning from the past. There is no greater teacher in this world than failure. And in this case, I'm referring to the concept of failing to be a proper human being. The Vietnam War was a failure for humanity. The Holocaust was a failure for humanity. Slavery was a failure of humanity. Even more recently, the murder of George Floyd was a failure of humanity. And all we want is for people to recognize failures in humanity and learn from them and not follow down that same path. And for many parents, it's too late. But it's not too late for your children. In my mind, there is no difference between removing a book about the Holocaust because it makes you feel uncomfortable and telling teachers we can't have honest discussions about race because it makes you feel uncomfortable. I have an obscenity for you and you know what it is.